Okay, so welcome back to Coding Ninjas, guys. I'm Kabir Singh, and we're gonna have another fun stream on this Sunday. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these interview kind of sessions from the past few weeks that I take every uh, Sunday. So this time, what we are doing is basically gonna be a session on which Vankshu is going to guide us on how he, learned DSA, how he learned programming, and how he got into Amazon. Okay, so we'll just wait for everybody to join in. Till then, Vangshu, can you just give us a small introduction about yourself and tell
For
us
for
who you
sure,
are?
for sure. Hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing good this Sunday. So my name is Vankshu. I recently graduated from Punjab Engineering College, and I'm one of the creators here at Coding Ninjas. And basically, as Kabir said, this video will be decoding how did I learn programming, DSA, and crack the company like Amazon.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, since how many years have you been programming, Vangshu?
Approximately two, not even two. I think a little less than two. I started, I
Okay.
think, in the start of the second year. So yeah, approximately two.
Okay, in the start of the second year, but we can name it to be 3 years, right? The entire second, the entire third, and the entire fourth year.
Yeah. Not exactly the starting. I would say I started DSA, specifically DSA, when I was in my I think fourth semester. So two and a half. Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yeah,
Okay, that's not bad. That's really nice because
yeah,
that's the normal timing wherein people start their DSA and everybody
exactly.
gets into DSA in that time only because वहाँ पे जाके you start to understand that भाई placement आ रहे हैं let's start
Exactly. That
studying.
that is exactly the case with me. Placement aa rahi hai, internships aa rahe hain, you need to study, you need to be serious.
Correct. So why did you choose computer science as a field before you came into your college and
I I I actually am from ECE. I'm not from CSE.
okay,
I
you're not from
had
computer science.
Yes, I had an option to choose computer science, but I thought it would
Hmm.
be cool to design some chips, etc. in ECE, which was not
Okay.
exactly the case. So
Okay.
I chose electronics for that reason. But yeah, I ended up being a software engineer, but
So
be a
from
software
EC,
engineer.
how did you come back to then computer science? Because if you're, bent towards a new field, say EC, how did you land up to
Yeah,
this
I
place?
guess I just came to know about the reality of EC during my second year.
Okay.
I just talked to my seniors and staff, talked to my teachers and all. I just had a good idea that if I try to go in the direction of EC, probably I won't be able to progress much in my career. So
Correct.
we had a subject in my first year related to programming. That's when I was
Hmm.
introduced to programming. So I thought that
Okay.
hey, I've done something in tech side. So probably I think tech is booming up, and in the coming few years it will always go up. So why not go into tech?
Correct. Okay. So that's why you came into tech. So if I ask you how you started your first program, everybody has that one day wherein you write your hello world
Yeah,
program, you see
yeah,
what programming really is. What was
yeah,
your uh, start?
yeah,
Like
good.
who pushed you towards programming? And like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, it's something like I was a computer science student who never wanted to do computer science, and then my friend, kind of motivated me on during my second year that okay, now since you've picked up the field, start programming, you'll be able to do it, and that's how I started. So, what was yours?
My main motivation behind learning programming in a correct way was obviously grades. I was like, hey, it's my first year and I don't want to mess up my grades itself in the first year. And what was
Okay,
being taught in the college, I was not able to grasp it 100%. The
okay,
teacher was throwing very heavy words: compiler, interpreter,
correct.
machine code, binary code. And I was a
Okay,
total noob back then. I did not have any idea what's being taught. So
okay,
I took up course. I took up course that coding jazz basic course. That's where uh, some interest was brought into be into programming field,
hmm,
and then it was eventually the grades which pushed me into learning programming into a proper
okay.
systematic way.
So basically, we can say your college helped you get to
Exactly, college.
Amazon at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. At the beginning was with college only. Yeah, so we can
Correct,
give
correct.
college the credit.
Yeah, we can. So you started programming with the course of Coding Ninjas, and then what did you do next?
Yeah.
How what did
Uh,
you do next? Yeah.
yeah, so the funny part is at almost the end of the course, I left the course. Bilkul khatam, bilkul
Okay.
zero. I left the course there
Okay.
and then I did not program for almost a year. I did not do any coding because again I was not very ambitious. I did not know what do I have to do in my life. But then, as
Okay.
we discussed in the starting, internship cycle was coming up, and that is
Okay.
where I got a little serious. That obviously, if I've come to a decent college, it doesn't look nice that internship cycle just passed by and I do not have any offers or any internships in my hand. That's where I
Okay.
consulted one of my seniors and asked him, "Hey, what should I do to get into tech company?" He told me that DSA and other
But
CS
why
subjects
did
are
you,
important.
when you were not programming for a year, why did you switch from EC to tech internships? Like you might have got an option for going into EC internships as well, right?
Yeah, so let me answer that briefly. I was good in C2. I had decent grades by my second year. I was good in EC. I was okay in programming. But
Okay.
I just wanted to pursue that particular field which has some future. In my opinion,
Correct.
India is still lacking a little bit in electronics as compared to computer science. Obviously, at that
Mhm.
point, people were getting into Microsoft, Amazon in my college too, and people were saying that hey, they got so package 40 LPA, 60 LPA, and that sort of got me thinking that is
मुझे भी
EC
करना है.
exactly मुझे भी करना है. EC maybe there are companies. I'm not saying EC does not have opportunities, but they are relatively less. So I thought that
Okay.
it's best for me to go into computer science.
Okay. And that's when you started your DSA, right?
Yep, exactly at that point.
Okay. And from where did you learn DSA?
Again, coding ninjas, one of the best in the
Okay.
class.
Okay. So you learned DSA also from Coding Ninjas only. Okay. So it's like talking about the topic of our stream, how I got into Amazon after learning DSA
Yeah.
and programming. I have a very generic question from you, wherein I want you to tell me if the level of DSA that you studied was specifically okay for Amazon, or was it specifically related to Amazon, or was it all over a FANG kind of a preparation that you did, wherein you can get into any FANG company after doing that preparation?
Yeah, so I never had a company during my preparation in my mind. I was not aiming for a specific company or to be
Hmm.
honest, even FANG. I think it's not like it's good if you get into FANG, but there are other companies which are even better than FANG, especially
Correct.
nowadays. So during my
Hmm.
preparation, my strategy was just to prepare generic preparation,
Okay.
not targeted towards Google, Amazon, Facebook, or any other company. Because
Correct.
I agree that on some parts the preparation is kind of similar, but again, I mean, I just wanted to be ready for any particular company. Again, we do not know, what the luck is like. Maybe one day I'm just sitting, and the other day maybe one company invites me for an interview. But if my
Right.
preparation is Google specific, which does not ask CS subjects, and if that XYZ company asks me something related to OOPS or OS, then I'll be screwed up. So
Correct.
I just always
Completely.
had generic preparation in my mind, and I prepared according to that. I think that's what
That
everyone should
was
do.
That was
Yeah,
great. And Vangshu, I wanted to ask you something. And this was a question that I've been getting a lot nowadays. Okay. I talk to a lot of juniors nowadays, and I talk to a lot of people who are preparing because, I kind of like interacting with people who are preparing for the race right now.
yeah,
So everybody asks me a question, and they're like, we are not motivated because what if we get rejected? Right? So, did you face any rejections before Amazon that kind of demotivated you, or did you treat that as a spirit for motivation and go forward with it? How did
yeah.
you manage all that?
Yep.
If you're
First of
okay
all,
telling me about that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. First of all,
Yeah.
I've been told by my parents, by my friends, by my seniors that rejection is a part of life. The sooner you get used to rejections or have a good understanding of why rejections are important, the easier it
Yeah.
will be for you when you actually face rejections. So I was
Correct.
sort of prepared, like it's okay to have rejections. My life is not perfect. It's not always going to be on a positive note every single time. There will be ups and downs, but eventually what matters is that Your graph should be upwards. That's what matters. And coming
Right.
to my rejections, when I was preparing for my internships, I straight on got rejected by a lot of companies directly in the OA round, be it
Correct.
I think D-Shaw, Cesium, Microsoft, a lot of other companies as well. And for interviews, I got rejected in American Express. And to be
Okay.
honest, I screwed up a very simple question in American Express. The question was
Okay.
what are data structures, and I got so
Okay.
damn confused, and I just screwed it up. And I was
Okay.
obviously, for obvious reasons, so demotivated after that, that it was just a very simple question. I was and Because I was not very confident in my knowledge and in myself, I screwed it
Mhm.
up. Obviously,
Okay.
rejections are a part of life, but again, this is a very critical time. Even if you waste 1 day or 2 days in feeling like, oh my god, I got rejected and stuff like that, you're just wasting your own time. You need to understand
Correct.
rejections are a part of life. What is important is you speculate where did you go wrong. For my
Right.
part, it was my confidence. So that's when I started to give a little bit of mock interviews with my friends and my seniors, which helped me to boost my confidence up. And yeah, and
Mhm.
this was for internships, and for full time, I got rejected by Google in the hiring committee round. So obviously,
Okay.
that was very
Another
disappointing for
big
obvious reasons. Yeah,
rejection out
big heartbreak. But
there.
again,
Okay.
after that, I just looked back on my entire journey, right from first interview to the hiring committee round. Where did I go wrong? What are my weak topics? And then I made sure to rectify it. And probably that's one of the reasons why I was able to crack Amazon. Who knows?
Okay. So basically, in your second year, you started programming. What language do you code in?
C++. plus plus.
C++. So you started with the basic course, and after that, you solved the DSA course at Coding Ninjas. And after
Yeah.
that, what did you do?
Okay, so after the course, obviously the course is amazing, no doubt in that. For beginners, it is very important and a very good course. I think what beginner wants is structure plus questions which help boost the confidence. We don't
Correct.
want to give very hard questions to a beginner, so that is where the course comes in. After the course, I felt some of my topics are a little weak, like DP. DP is one topic which is heavily asked in interviews. It was asked in my Google interviews, Amazon interviews, and some other interviews too. So DP was one such topic where I felt that नहीं यार मुझे और practice चाहिए, बहुत practice चाहिए अभी ऐसे नहीं चलेगा.
Correct.
So that is when I started to practice things on interview bit as well as lead code.
Okay.
That was for questions, but for theoretical part is also equally important, I think. I refer to some
Mhm.
YouTube videos and stuff. I think there are a lot of good resources available. uh, did theory from that, and then practices, which makes a man perfect, as everyone says. So yeah,
Okay.
did practice, did interview bit for about 1.5 months, because
Mhm.
that platform was coming up at that point of time. And then after that, I started lead code.
And how many questions have you solved on lead code till date?
I think on lead code, I had two accounts. In one account, I solved around 100, but that was mostly on easier side. But when I just thought at some point that नहीं यार मेरे को ना नया account बनाना है, मुझे ना शुरू से start करना है. So I made a second
Okay.
account, and I till date I think I've solved around 510 questions or something
Nice.
on
That
lead
that's
code.
really that's a really nice number because solving 510 questions is not a small thing out there.
Yeah,
And I think the more you solve questions, the better you get at it. Because
exactly.
I think when you're preparing for your interviews in today's scenario, when you're preparing for your interviews, I guess we kind of have to treat it the way we used to prepare for JE at our 11th 12th
Bilkul,
stage.
exactly. Yep.
The way we used to prepare for JE, managing your school, managing your tuitions, and then managing your
Exactly. Yeah.
uh, JE part. Same
Yeah.
you have to do here, managing your college, your assignments, and then your interview preparation.
Yep. Yep.
So I guess the more you solve lead code, the way you used to solve more HC Verma for physics,
Yeah.
I guess that's what we have to do over here.
Exactly.
So
Except this
510
time
questions.
is, so sorry to cut you, but except this part is very important because job leni hai, paise kamane, all
Ha
that.
ha ha. There, if you don't crack JE, it's fine.
Yeah,
Here,
it's
if you
fine.
don't get a job, it's not fine.
Yeah,
Then it's
yeah.
it's a big problem out there. So again, so after solving the questions, when you appeared for the interviews, how many can you share the interview experience? How you applied for it? Was it on campus, off campus? How many rounds?
For Amazon,
Yep.
Yeah, so Amazon, this opportunity was on campus. The funny
Okay.
part is, I was not expecting any company to come visit my campus at that point of time because it was already the late placement season. That is when Amazon actually came onto campus. But I guess it
Mhm.
was the speculation of Google. Google
Okay.
rejection happened about a month prior to when Amazon visited the campus. And when I
Okay.
got rejected, I was like, I just need to be very serious with my DSA skills. I need to practice daily. I need to give contests because solving DSA questions uh, is
Not
not
enough.
enough alone. We need to solve
Correct.
questions in a timed environment. That is very important, as everyone
Perfect.
says.
Right.
So I started to give contests and all for 1 month straight. No excuses. Daily have to solve some questions, and that is when Amazon came into campus. So first was online assessment. I think everyone is pretty familiar with what the structure is, but still, for everyone's sake, I think there are about 7 debugging questions which are very easy. कोई भी कर लेगा, बहुत easy होते हैं. Then
Okay.
there are 2 DSA questions.
Okay.
One is
First, I'm sorry to cut you out, but let's go one by one. The 70
yeah,
questions are related to what? Like, what is the stack? Are they basics of programming? Are they something else? Are they aptitude or what?
7 debugging questions are they're sort of mixed. I would say
Okay, seven
some were
debugging questions. I'm sorry, I heard
debugging
70
questions.
questions. I heard
No, no, no,
70
seven.
questions.
Yeah, seven
Seven
debugging
debugging
questions.
questions. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, the questions were related to like they have implemented sort of like an algorithm, a very basic algorithm, but there's a mistake in it. So first of all, we
Okay,
need to know the algorithm prior to
correct.
giving the OA. And yeah, I think they were pretty simple. I think अगर normal DSA की हुई है तो it shouldn't be a problem. तो पहले 7
Okay,
debugging questions थे. उसके बाद 2 DSA की problems थी. One was I
okay,
think both were sort of medium only, not very tough. One was related to priority queue, and the other one was related to sorting. Pretty easy questions, I would say.
okay.
And after that comes the aptitude part. Aptitude ना यार बहुत लोग छोड़ देते हैं. I don't know why, but aptitude is equally important because many, not only Amazon, I think companies like RCGM and Disha also ask aptitude. Goldman Sachs too in their online assessment. So aptitude
Right,
is
right.
very important, and in my opinion, aptitude में यार रिजेक्शन एंड सिलेक्शन की बात आ जाती है. DSA questions तो फिर भी many people solve. So aptitude was
Right,
important,
correct.
and after that behavioral questions for Amazon वाले basically just to see if you are
Okay.
a good cultural fit for Amazon or not. And I think yeah, pretty much that.
This was
So
everything
this
in the OA.
yes, 3 hour as far as I remember, two
Okay,
and a
so
half to
seven
3 hours.
debugging questions, then aptitude, then the behavioral round,
Yeah, and two
right?
DSA questions.
And two DSA questions. And you solved all of them, or did you leave any?
DSA question नहीं मेरा हो गया था सारा. Debugging questions were all done. DSA were all done. Aptitude were almost all done. At least according to me, I don't know if some were incorrect or not.
Okay,
But yeah, uh, all done, I think. And the
okay,
level is, to be honest, medium-ish. Not very hard and not very easy. If you've
correct.
practiced lead code enough, online assessment shouldn't be a problem for you, especially for Amazon.
Right. So we answered our first question. Now I want you to answer the next. Which language is best for DSA?
I think there are 3 languages majorly on a huge scale: Python, C++, Java. I don't
Okay.
think there's a best language, but generally people tend to use Java or C++. Python also काफी लोग करते हैं, but still the number is less. If you ask my suggestion, I would say it depends, right? If you
Okay.
actually want to go into CP, then generally people prefer C++ because it's fast. But on the other hand,
Mhm.
many majority of the companies out there use Java. Amazon में
Okay.
भी I think मेरी टीम का टेक स्टैक इज जावा ओनली. आई आस्क्ड माय मैनेजर, तो ही सेड जावा. मेरे को जावा नहीं आती, मुझे सीखनी पड़ेगी. बट
Correct.
जनरली इफ यू ओनली वांट टू स्टिक टू डीएसए, थोड़ा सा अगर आपको लग रहा है कि सीपी में नहीं जाना, तो आई वुड प्रेफर कि जावा यूज कर सकते हो. बट इफ यू वांट कि यार सीपी करते हैं, डीएसए में ही घुसना बहुत ज्यादा, तो यू कैन डू सी प्लस प्लस. On the other hand, if
Okay.
you're someone who is interested in data engineering, machine learning, data science and all, you can do in Python as well.
Correct. Okay. So after the OA, what did you have? How many rounds did you have? I guess all of them were on-call interviews.
Yes, all were virtual interviews. I had 3 rounds after that. Two were
Okay.
normal rounds, and the third one was par racer round.
Okay. What was there in the three rounds?
Yeah. So I think first 2 rounds were meant to test TSA and CS subjects.
Okay.
basically OOPS, OS, CND, BMS, and all. But I wasn't
Okay.
asked any CS questions. But it totally depends on the interview, right? But my friends were asked some CS subjects. So पहले दो राउंड में it was DSA heavy. 2 questions, 45 minutes. You need to answer both of them, along with
Okay.
space and time complexity in the best optimized manner.
Optimized
I'll tell you
approach.
the
Correct.
topics too, which Amazon focuses on. I think mostly हर कंपनी का सेम ही होता है. DP graph, array strings are very important, although they sound simple, but there are a multitude of questions which can be formed on arrays and strings, right from
Correct.
easy to very very hard. तो
Right.
array string तो हर कंपनी में होता है. Then DP graph, priority queue, and trees.
Okay. So after that, the first two rounds you gave DSA and then the CS subjects, and the third round
Yep.
was
Third round was Paris round. So as soon as I entered the interview room, the manager told me that hey, I got through your resume. तो मेरे को ऐसे एकदम से डर लग गया कि यार अब तो मतलब proper grilling वगैरह होने वाली है. But the interview was very nice. So
okay.
he asked me something related to my previous internship experience. One
Okay.
suggestion, whenever you're sitting for an interview ना अपने project and अपने internship experience को अच्छे से prepare कर लेना in a very clear and crisp way. इंटरव्यू में
Correct.
ऐसे टाइम नहीं मिलेगा, थोड़ा सा अटक अटक के बोलने का, गलत बोल दिया तो और प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है. तो इट इज ऑलवेज रिकमेंडेड कि एकदम अच्छे से यू शुड नो व्हाट टू स्पीक व्हेन समवन आस्क्स यू अबाउट योर प्रोजेक्ट और इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस और एनी अदर एक्सपीरियंस. अगर शिफ्ट कर
Okay.
रहे हो तो ऑब्वियसली जॉब एक्सपीरियंस. तो मुझे ही आस्क्ड अबाउट कि इंटर्नशिप में क्या किया, कौन से टेक स्टैक पर काम किया, व्हाट वर द प्रोजेक्ट्स ऑन यू वर वर्किंग. तो मैंने पहले से
Hmm.
प्रिपेयर कर रखा था. माय इंटर्नशिप वाज मोस्टली ऑन AWS. तो AWS का मैंने
Okay.
तो ऑब्वियसली गॉट इम्प्रेस्ड क्योंकि AWS Amazon का ही है. तो मैंने उनको अच्छे
Right.
से बताया कि मैंने AWS में ये किया, ऑल दैट, एंड टोल्ड हिम इन अ वेरी स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे. एंड मैंने क्या किया था, प्रिपेयर्ड अ स्लाइड. एक स्लाइड बना ली थी
Okay.
जिसपे मैंने मतलब मैंने उसमें पॉइंटर्स में लिखा हुआ था कि मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया. तो मैंने
Hmm.
आई आस्क्ड द इंटरव्यूअर इफ इट इज ओके टू present a slide which would help me articulate my experience in a better way. So he said he's fine with that. So I think it's a
Okay.
good way. Depends on the interviewer again, but I think it's a good way. उसको भी क्लियर में दिख रहा है कि ये पॉइंटर्स लिखे हुए हैं इसने, एंड जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ
Correct.
obviously it sort of aligns with the pointers. So I think it was a good way, and मैंने
Hmm.
I used this way to explain my internship experience as well as my project. तो पहले दो क्वेश्चन
Okay.
ये थे, internship
Okay.
experience, project बताओ क्या है.
Okay.
Then came behavioral questions, situation wise questions. Can you tell me about a time where you were not able to deliver by the deadline, something like that? And
Hmm.
these questions are very important. Amazon can reject you based on these questions, no matter how good you are in DSA or all other stuff. This is very important,
Hmm.
especially to Amazon. तो ये वाले क्वेश्चंस को बहुत ध्यान में रखना है. इनको एक Amazon बोलते हैं, there's a STAR format, STAR format, in which
Okay.
for behavioral questions you need to first um describe the situation you were in, है ना, कि ये situation थी. Then T for task, what was the task which you had to perform. Then A for
Okay.
what action did you take. You need to take some time and tell the interviewer what all things did you do in that particular situation. ठीक है. फिर उस आर फिर जो STA हो गया, देन कम्स आर से यू नीड टू टेल कि उसका रिजल्ट क्या था.
Okay.
ठीक है. तो बेसिकली एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्मेट है हाउ टू आंसर बिहेवियरल क्वेश्चंस. तो
Correct.
आई आंसर्ड आई थिंक 2 to 3 क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन दिस फॉर्मेट, एंड उसके बाद बिहेवियरल पार्ट हो गया, देन अ DSA क्वेश्चन. एंड सरप्राइजिंगली DSA क्वेश्चन वाज नॉट वेरी टफ, इट वाज easy to medium-ish only.
Okay. That's like your luck was also playing a major role while you were giving
Yeah,
Amazon interviews.
yeah, I think I had a good edge when I told him that I have previous experience in AWS. That is when he seemed happy to me. He was sort of smiling and taking a lot of interest in what things did I do. So I think
Okay.
I sort of have a feeling that it is because of that. Not sure. Who knows?
Okay. And which company did you do the AWS internship in?
General Electric, GE Aviation.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So that was nice. Let's just get into the chat for a bit.
Sure.
So 1 second, मैं अभी बीकॉम कर रहा हूँ and okay. So there's a student who says he's doing BCom and his coding development. He has interest in coding and development. He's learning Java and he'll be starting DSA after that. So will he be able to get into IT? I guess yeah, because I don't think the stream matters. What
Yep,
matters
not
is
anymore.
how much of DSA you know, how much of coding do you know. I guess
Exactly.
that's what matters. And are you from a tier three college, Wangshu?
I think I am from Punjab Engineering College. I think it
Okay.
is considered as tier one. Not sure. I think it's tier one.
Okay. Punjab Engineering College.
Yep, yep.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great. Okay. So, Wangshu, what I want to ask you is how much time did you pay to your devote to your development, your projects, and how many projects did you do for your interviews?
Yeah, yeah. So I think when it comes to development, I definitely learned web development. I took out around 2.5 months to learn WebD, just to
Okay.
realize that I don't think WebD is for me. I
Okay.
made one good project, one decent project on WebD, but then I sort of lost interest. I was like, it's just my personal opinion. Now I'm not saying WebD is bad. It's obviously great. Everything is on the web. Don't take me in a wrong way, but I
Right.
just thought that a lot of people are doing it and I just want to do something different. So first I tried WebD. I took out two and a
Mhm.
half months to learn WebD and make a project. Obviously CSS and everything takes some practice. I say ekdam se nahi aata. You just have to do trial and error to get a hang of CSS. JavaScript can be a little troubling is what I've heard and experienced. So थोड़ा time लगता है. So I took out 2.5 months to learn WebD. After that
Okay.
my internship came, to be very honest, and that is when cloud wala part aaya ki cloud ye wo. So when I was doing my internship, my manager focused a lot on cloud. He told me to do some courses, do some personal things and all. That is when I made my project on AWS. It was related to infrastructure का configure करना, उसको manage करना through tools. There are different tools which are available. You need to code and stuff so that, for example, virtual servers, they come up automatically, they set up, they do configure automatically, and if something goes wrong, कुछ भी wrong हो सकता है. Obviously servers are not
Correct.
perfect all the time. तो अगर कुछ गलत होता है तो वो अपने आप ठीक हो जाता है. This is all managed by tools and codes. So that is when I made project on AWS, जो मैं भी बोल रहा था,
Okay.
जो मैंने internship में explain किया था. तो मैंने साइड बाय साइड माय इंटर्नशिप आई वाज डूइंग अ कोर्स. तो मैंने वो 3 से 4 महीने आई डिड दैट कोर्स एंड देन आई मेड दिस प्रोजेक्ट इन अबाउट 2 मंथ्स, ये इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाला. उसके बाद एक और प्रोजेक्ट था विच वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ सॉर्ट ऑफ माय कॉलेज करिकुलम. इट वाज रिलेटेड टू डेटा साइंस. तो फर्स्ट लर्न डेटा साइंस इन अबाउट 2.5 3 months, न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स, थोड़ा सा ये वाला पार्ट, डेटा साइंस वाला पार्ट, एंड देन मेड अ प्रोजेक्ट ऑन I think it was related to breast cancer detection. Mind it, the code is
Okay.
available on the internet, but I did not use that code. मैंने खुद से बैठ के लिखा था,
Okay.
खुद से टेस्टिंग की थी, सब कुछ बैठ के खुद से किया था. तो have about 3 projects, one WebD का, एक cloud का, और एक data science वाला.
That's really really nice. And I'm again getting another question from Anurag, which I get in every Sunday stream. So I've been streaming the same, pattern from the last two, three, 4 Sundays. And
Yeah.
again, I'm getting the same question on which I would like you to tell me what you did. So when you were
Hmm.
learning DSA, when you started lead code, there might have
Hmm.
been situations in which you're not able to convert your approach to your code.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so you read the question and you're blank, you don't know how to solve it, but
Yep.
you've studied the topic, you know it in your mind, but you're not able to actually
Convert
apply
it
this,
into code.
yeah, convert it into a program and apply your approach. How did you tackle all of that?
Okay, so just to be clear, we know how to solve the question, but we don't know how to convert it into code.
Right.
I think it's about all about the practice. अगर कोड नहीं लिखना आ रहा, that means I think one or two things. One is कि आपने प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं की है. आपको आपको लॉजिक बनाना आता है, you are sharp enough, but you are not very familiar with the language itself.
Okay.
That can be one thing कि syntax semantics ही नहीं आते थोड़ा सा. I think that is
Correct.
probably the only reason. I cannot think of any other reason. Of course, this happens especially in the starting. Suppose करो बहुत simple सा program की बात करें, pattern लिखना है, pattern वाले printing programs होते हैं. We are generally beginners when we solve those problems. ठीक है, तो
Correct.
mostly I think that is where it's like कि दिमाग में तो बहुत क्लियर होता है कि अच्छा ये for loop लगाना है, ये लगाना है, but again it is not very easy for us to convert into code कि दो दो for loops
Correct.
लगाने हैं, इतना space लगाना है,
Right.
all that. It is all about
Yeah.
practice and doing try runs. Try hit and trial करो. अभी बैठ जाओ अभी. If you give hours today, then it will be easier for you later on when you actually implement hard DSA problems. वहाँ पे भी
Okay.
implementation is very heavy, तो वहाँ पे भी it helps कि language से familiar होना is very important. ठीक है, language
Okay.
में सब कुछ पता होना चाहिए. Ideally you need to be uh, at that point of time wherein अच्छा दिमाग में अप्रोच है, you just your fingers just start typing and you're just able to code everything out. बट फॉर
Yeah.
दैट यू नीड टू गिव आवर्स उससे पहले अच्छे से देख के ट्राई रन करके अच्छा हिट एंड ट्रायल करो. देखो ऐसे कोई जादूगर नहीं होता, कोई आइंस्टाइन नहीं है. नो वन इज एबल टू थिंक ऑफ द कोड इन द फर्स्ट गो, स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर अ बिगिनर.
Correct.
तो यू विल मेक मिस्टेक्स बट देन गिव टाइम, गिव सम आवर्स, देखो कि कहाँ गलती हो रही है, बैठ के करो, हो जाएगा. डोंट वरी, कंसिस्टेंसी शो करो और डेडिकेशन शो करो.
Okay. So, how much time did you take to learn DSA, Vangshu?
I did the coding ninjas course in about 40 days. मैंने बहुत जल्दी किया था
Okay.
बिकॉज टाइम नहीं था, इंटर्नशिप आ रही थी. उसके बाद आई स्पेंट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम ऑन लीड कोड एंड इंटरव्यू बिट. उस पे तो आई थिंक अभी तक जब से मेरा कोर्स खत्म हुआ है, तब से अभी तक तो चलता ही आ रहा है. इट इज ऑलवेज अ लर्निंग कर्व. ऐसा नहीं है कि और आए क्या छोड़ो कोई भी होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि किसी का एक स्टैग्नेंट स्टेज आ गया. ऑब्वियसली व्हेन इट कम्स टू डीएसए कोई ना कोई नया टॉपिक तो आ ही जाएगा यार. ऐसा नहीं है कि
Okay.
देयर आर लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ टॉपिक्स, तो ऐसे
Yeah,
तो चलते ही रहते
I've
हैं.
heard this saying that DSA never ends. Like no
एग्जैक्टली, इट कैन
matter how
नेवर.
much you study DSA, it can never you can never completely finish up DSA.
Yep, yep.
So
Even if today someone gives me a weird question, there are good chances that I'll not be able to solve it. Not a big issue. I think it's just about learning new things and progressing forward. तो डीएसए का
correct.
ऐसे कोई स्पेसिफिक टाइम नहीं होता कि 2-3 महीने में सब कर लोगे. इट्स ऑलवेज
Hmm.
अ प्रोसेस ऑफ लर्निंग एंड जस्ट गोइंग फॉरवर्ड.
Okay. So the next question is how important are projects and knowledge of CS subjects for the preparation of internships? Because people from ECE branch don't really have a good knowledge about DBMS, OS, OOPS, etc.
तो जनरली इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट. फर्स्ट इज फ्रॉम इंटरव्यू स्टैंड पॉइंट. इंटरव्यू में ऊप्स पूछते हैं, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इज आस्क्ड एंड कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स एंड ऑल इज आस्क्ड. बट एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर आपको पता होना चाहिए. इफ यू आर वर्किंग एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर you need to have some knowledge about operating systems. Why should you choose Windows? Why
Correct.
should you choose Linux? Then again computer networks यार बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. हम इंटरव्यूज में इतना नहीं पूछते, बट while you're working as a software engineer, everything is on network essentially. तो इफ यू डू नॉट हैव गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ नेटवर्क वगैरह, तो ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि कोई नेटवर्क की वजह से डीबग मतलब कोड नहीं रन कर रहा, कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो इफ यू डू नॉट हैव नॉलेज अबाउट OS, TBMS, CN and system design also, then you'll not be able to be a very good software engineer. And when it comes to promotion too, generally company expects you to be good on all these grounds, OS,
Okay.
CN, system design, everything. तो इसमें तो अल्टीमेटली परफेक्ट होना ही पड़ेगा. तो व्हाई नॉट अभी अभी तो ज्यादा टाइम है. व्हेन यू विल बी वर्किंग तो और भी कम टाइम होगा. देन मीटिंग्स वगैरह होती है, ऑब्वियसली मोस्ट ऑफ द डे गोज बाय इन अटेंडिंग मीटिंग्स एंड ऑल. तो अभी ही टाइम है आई थिंक. अच्छी बात है ना, इंटरव्यू के लिए भी तैयारी हो जाएगी एंड अच्छे सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर भी बनोगे. सो व्हाई नॉट प्रिपेयर नाउ.
Correct. Right. Right. So I'm not familiar with syntax. Now on sir, I'll study from. Okay. Okay. You're welcome. Can I code in JavaScript in an Amazon interview? Is it allowed to code in JavaScript in your Amazon interview?
Um, I think not sure to be honest, but I think most of the tech firms they allow to code in any language. बहुत बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज होती है वैसे नहीं बोलती जनरली कि ये करना है वो करना है. बट अगेन सजेशन इज ऑलवेज C++, जावा, पाइथन. बट अगेन अगर आप वेब डी वाले हो तो कर सकते हो जावास्क्रिप्ट में, नो इशू एज सच.
Okay. 1 year gap after your B.Tech, will it affect the off-campus placements?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं यार. आई थिंक एवरीवन इज गेटिंग मॉडर्न. इट्स नॉट कि कंपनीज दे विल से कि आपको तो 1 ईयर गैप है, आगे क्या करे, अनलेस यू डोंट हैव अ गुड रीजन फॉर दैट. अब आई एम श्योर 1 ईयर गैप है तो कोई रीजन होगा अच्छा खासा. वी की प्रिपेयर कर रहे थे, कुछ हो रहे थे. बट अगेन आई डोंट थिंक इट शुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम.
Okay. And since you started your preparation from your second year, starting the preparation from third year, how is that as an idea? And how much more energy and more consistency do you want, to reach that level?
Of course, if you are 1 year late, then compared to when I started, of course you need to put in more hours. That's मतलब obvious सी बात है.
Okay.
अगेन मतलब थर्ड ईयर में भी मेरे काफी फ्रेंड्स ने स्टार्ट किया था थर्ड ईयर में, बट दे आर स्टिल प्लेस्ड इन गुड कंपनीज. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि इट्स टू लेट. देयर इज नथिंग एज सच कि लोग बोलते हैं टू लेट ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. इवन इफ यू स्टार्ट इन फोर्थ ईयर एंड हैव अ गैप, देन आल्सो इट्स फाइन इन माय ओपिनियन.
Okay.
तो इफ यू पुट इन आवर्स, इफ यू स्टडी वेल, कंसिस्टेंसी दिखाओ 4 5 6 महीने की, हो जाएगा यार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
Okay, yeah, and one more question that I guess only you can answer is that after your DSA course from Coding Ninjas, do you get options for placement?
I think yes, Coding Ninjas has a placement cell
Placement
as far
portal, right?
as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Yogesh, I guess they have a placement portal, but I guess only the people who take the DSA or some
Yeah.
specific course are allowed to be in that.
Yes. Yes.
Not
Yes. Yes.
everybody is allowed.
No. No.
Okay. One good question. Does ML have scope in India?
Of
Since
course. Of
I'll be very
course.
honest, right now, today you are in the placement scene. I am not sitting for placements because I'll be going for my master's.
Yeah.
So I am not very familiar about the placement scenario for India right now. So
Yep.
what do you think?
Of course. और बहुत सही है यार, मैं बताता हूँ. जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक में देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ टीम्स जिनका बेस ही एमएल था, डेटा साइंस, एमएल, डेटा
Okay.
इंजीनियरिंग. एवरीथिंग इज बेस्ड ऑन डेटा यार. एंड कंपनीज इन इंडिया आर प्रोग्रेसिंग. एमएनसीज भी है वो
Hmm.
इंडिया में बहुत बड़े बड़े ऑफिसेज सेट कर रही है, बिकॉज दे
Right.
एक्चुअली बिलीव कि इंडिया में टैलेंट इज देयर. देयर इज नो लिमिट ऑफ टैलेंट इन इंडिया. एंड जो कुछ भी ले लो यार, एवरीथिंग इज ऑन डेटा. So as time passes
Hmm.
by, more and more companies will set their operations and offices in India, and there will be eventually more demand of data engineers, ML engineers, data scientists and all. So demand abhi bhi hai, but it will only increase in future. Definitely, no doubt in that.
Okay. So, Vangshu, what I want to ask you, since you've made projects for AWS, you've made projects for data science, then a web development project. Somebody who starts building projects, okay, somebody who's just entering the development scene, what do you recommend him to do or her to do? Should they kind of go towards web development directly? Should they go towards cloud directly, or should they go towards data science directly? Because at the end of the day, any field that they choose, they have to learn it from scratch and make projects so that they can get good placements. So
Yep.
which one is easier, because we need to spend less time towards the development, a little more towards the DSA, because at the end of the day, if you don't solve your OA questions, you're not allowed to explain your projects. So
Exactly.
what do you recommend?
I think it's relatively easier to start with web development, and
Hmm.
probably that is the reason why majority of the students have projects based on web development. Things
Correct.
like data science, they require math, high level math, if you actually want to have a good understanding of how algorithms and everything works. It requires hours. It requires to have understanding of the mathematical equations which are behind the scenes, behind the algorithms. तो अगर डीप जाना है, बहुत अच्छे से करना है, तो वेब डेवलपमेंट इज द फास्टेस्ट वे टू गो. When it comes to cloud has certain prerequisites. कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स पता होना चाहिए, डीबीएमएस पता होना चाहिए, सिस्टम डिजाइन की भी थोड़ी सी नॉलेज होनी चाहिए, हाई लेवल डिजाइन की. तो मैंने सब कुछ ही सीखा था. मैंने काफी टाइम दिया था, 4 to 5 months लर्निंग, just learning all these things. तो
Okay.
the fastest way to go is definitely web development without any doubt. Web development or even Android or uh, Flutter वगैरह जो भी होता है, for
Flutter,
that matter.
yeah. Flutter is a good pick
Yeah,
because I myself code in Flutter, so I make a lot of applications. And I guess
yeah,
अगर किसी को web development नहीं पसंद, the way you told that you started working with WebD and in 2 months
yeah,
you realize it's not your cup of tea. I guess then that person has the last option of Flutter to go with, because
yeah,
अगर WebD नहीं पसंद आया तो Flutter आ ही जाएगा,
yeah,
because
yeah. I'm pretty
both
sure
of them
mobile
are,
applications are fun. Yeah,
yeah,
fun to code.
they are better than webd projects that you make. So I would choose that only over webd any day. But since you were coding in C++, what did you use for your data science project?
Python, of course, Python. Python is not very
Okay.
hard. I learned Python. I did a course on Python on Udemy for about 15 to 20 days. Python is very straightforward यार, कुछ इतना बड़ा नहीं होता. तो 15 20 days में I just learned all these semantics, constructs of Python and used them. Yeah, not a very big deal. The fun part about Python is you can learn on the go. You don't need to know every single thing in Python before you actually jump to one particular domain, be it data science or any other stuff. तो मैंने बेसिकली
Okay.
ऑन द गो सीखा है. अगर कोई फंक्शन दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा, तो आई यूज्ड टू गूगल इट अप और just ask my friend or something and used to do it. Python is a wonderful, beautiful language where everything is abstracted. So why not make use of that?
Right, right. That's nice. So I am from ML stream. Do I have to focus on Java more? I guess Python would be a better pick for somebody who's from the ML field, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Python is one language which is accepted by most of the companies, so shouldn't be a problem.
Other than Java and C++.
Yep.
Okay. And which would be the best course that you would recommend for web development for beginners?
It depends on you. If you're very proactive and you have dedication, probably a YouTube course would help a lot because it's free and there's a lot of good content available on YouTube. But अगर थोड़ा आलस है, थोड़ा सा डंडा चाहिए पढ़ने के लिए, तो probably a course would help. यूडीमी पे ले सकते हो कोर्स, कोडिंग जैस पे ले सकते हो कोर्स, अगर बहुत ही स्ट्रक्चर्ड अमेजिंग टी सपोर्ट वगैरह चाहिए, थोड़े वीक हो, इफ यू फील यू take some time to have a good understanding of things and you need a buddy who can help you out at times, तो probably you need TA support, तो उस टाइम पे कोडिंग ninjas I think it's good enough. वहाँ पे रिएक्ट वगैरह सब सिखाया हुआ है जो कि लेटेस्ट है, तो you can go with that.
Okay.
But
That's
ultimately
nice.
what matters is trial and error. जब तक प्रोजेक्ट्स में अप्लाई नहीं करोगे कुछ फायदा नहीं है.
Correct.
तो
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're going for development, if you're learning, say, web development, Flutter, or anything, no, until and unless you make your own application or you make your own project, you won't be able to, get a good hand on the language. So,
exactly,
may it be
exactly,
HTML or may it be Flutter or Dart, anything.
super
I
true.
guess that's needed. Okay. Does company ask for Java if I'm from ML stream?
I think it depends on the company itself. There can't be a specific, मतलब ऐसे generalize नहीं कर सकते कि यही होता है. But in my opinion, according to my knowledge, uh, mostly companies are okay with Python. ऐसा नहीं होता. Lead code पे भी you see a lot of people coding in Python. बहुत ही सारे हैं.
Right, right. I've seen it in the discussion
Yeah,
section of lead
exactly.
code. Whenever you go for an approach for C++ Java, तो उनसे ज़्यादा you find Python
Python.
people out there.
Exactly.
ठीक है,
Yeah.
so we are writing 10 lines of code, उनका 2 line में खत्म
दो
चलो.
लाइन में हो जाता है.
They're like, okay, let's go. We are sorted. So yeah, I guess you can go for Python if you're going for ML. That's a good pick.
Yep.
And I also have plans of shifting from C++ to Python pretty soon. So I would recommend others, to do that too if you're going for ML.
For sure.
Okay. So, Vangshu, would you, if there's a junior of yours or there's a person who comes up for some guidance and he wants you to guide him from scratch, a roadmap in which
Yep.
he can, basically move forward to a company like Amazon, what would be the exact crisp roadmap that you would give somebody?
Okay, let me decode it. First of
Yeah,
all, first is of course choosing a language. The language mein,
correct.
as we have been discussing, there are three things: Java, C++, Python.
Hmm.
Now, what I would ask the junior is कि एक बार थोड़ा फ्यूचर सोच के देखो, आपको इंटरेस्ट किस में है, थोड़ा सा पढ़ो अबाउट डेटा साइंस, अबाउट कि सीपी क्या होती है, सीपी में जाना है कि नहीं, इफ यू वांट टू एक्चुअली गो इनटू डेवलपमेंट और अदर स्टफ, थोड़ा सा आइडिया लो, अपना देखो कि इंटरेस्ट थोड़ा सा कहाँ बनता है, उसके हिसाब से पिक अ लैंग्वेज.
Correct.
इफ यू मतलब ठीक है, लैंग्वेज वाला यहाँ से सॉर्ट हो जाना चाहिए मोस्टली. बट अगर फिर भी कुछ दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा, जस्ट गो अहेड विद जावा और सी प्लस प्लस, डजंट रियली मैटर. आपस में बाद में चेंज हो ही जाता है थोड़ा सा स्ट्रगल करके. First is, of course,
Right.
language. Then is getting familiar
Okay.
with language, as I said. Do basic
Okay.
questions like print patterns or just get familiar with language, variables, all that, for loops, and questions like print a prime number or find a prime numbers. बहुत बहुत जो basic questions होते हैं, do those questions to gain confidence. If you're learning a new language, confidence is the key. You cannot just directly jump onto problems, DSA problems. Get comfortable with the language, because as I said, if there's a question which is in front of you and you have it in your mind कि ऐसे ऐसे सॉल्व
Right.
करना है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि हम बैठ के 10 मिनट लगा रहे हैं देखने में कि अच्छा फॉर लूप कैसे लगता था, ऑल दैट. योर फिंगर्स शुड बी
Hmm.
एग्जैक्टली टाइपिंग ऑन द कीबोर्ड, एंड मतलब इतना स्मूथ होना चाहिए eventually. So second suggestion is
That in
get
a
familiar
second
with the
you
language.
get your, logic.
Yep, exactly. Then when you are comfortable with the language, you feel कि ठीक है, मेरे को सारे constructs, सारे semantics का अच्छे से मतलब पता है, and I know where to apply them. Okay, it takes a little bit of time, mind you, but when once you're comfortable, then you can move ahead with data structures. Data structures पे you should spend a lot of time. Get comfortable with the data structures. अच्छा, priority क्यों है, इसको कैसे define करना है, how to use it, what are some of the functions associated with priority queue. Then queue, all
Mm-hmm.
of those basic data structures and some of the intermediate data structures too, उनकी अच्छे से theory पढ़ लो. कैसे उनको इनिशियलाइज करना है, व्हाट आर द यूज्ड फॉर, व्हाट आर द सर्कमस्टांसेस व्हेन यू यूज अ पर्टिकुलर डेटा स्ट्रक्चर, व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस डिसएडवांटेजेस, इनके बारे में अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए. एंड अगेन क्वेश्चंस, क्वेश्चंस भी पहले इजी कर लिए थोड़े से, ताकि कॉन्फिडेंस बने, ताकि आपको थोड़ा सा पता चले कि इस सिनेरियो में वी हैड टू अप्लाई अ प्रायोरिटी क्यू, इस सिनेरियो में वी हैड टू अप्लाई अ ट्राई. ठीक है, ऐसे ऐसे कॉन्सेप्ट बिल्डिंग क्वेश्चंस करना है, जो कि एक अच्छे कोर्स
Mm-hmm.
में अवेलेबल होते हैं. ठीक है.
Correct.
Once you do concept building questions, you should move on to solving random questions. ठीक है, while you are learning,
Right.
we mostly know कि ये वाला क्वेश्चन ट्राई से कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम ट्राई प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं. बट अगेन इन एन इंटरव्यू वो आपको ये नहीं बताएंगे कि यार ये ट्राई से करो, वो तो बोलेंगे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करो. तो देन रैंडम क्वेश्चंस, स्पेंड गुड अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम डूइंग लीड कोड और कोड स्टूडियो. ठीक है, जस्ट टू सॉल्व रैंडम क्वेश्चंस. पिक अ क्वेश्चन, बी इट फ्रॉम अ डेली चैलेंज और कॉन्टेस्ट और एनीथिंग, ट्राई टू सॉल्व देम. अच्छा टाइम लगाओ, दिक्कतें आएंगी, देयर विल बी अप्स एंड डाउन्स, बट व्हाट्स इंपॉर्टेंट इज बी कंसिस्टेंट. अच्छे से कंसिस्टेंट रहना है. अगर प्रॉब्लम नहीं समझ आ रही तो देखो, इट माइट बी कि यू डोंट नो कॉन्सेप्ट, आपको कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं पता तो अप्लाई कैसे करोगे. सेकंड इज,
Right.
ऐसा मेरे साथ होता है टू बी ऑनेस्ट, आई थिंक नो वन स्पीक्स अबाउट इट, बट आई समटाइम्स टेंड टू ओवर कॉम्प्लिकेट अ प्रॉब्लम. उसका एक्चुअल में
Correct.
सोल्यूशन इज वेरी इजी, बट मैं अपने आप ही ज्यादा दिमाग लगा के कुछ कर रहा होता हूँ.
Yeah. You
तो
don't go straight road. You just,
एग्जैक्टली,
keep
या,
turning left, right, left, right, right.
yeah.
Okay.
So there can be a lot of things which can be happening, but it's important to look back कि गलती कहाँ करी.
Correct.
ठीक है. And if you follow this particular method for a lot of time, for a considerable amount of time, you'll eventually get better. You'll eventually get to the situation wherein you are actually able to click the solution. एकदम से question पढ़ा, अच्छा दिमाग में आया कि अच्छा इस पे hash map लग जाएगा एकदम से, है ना. तो ऐसे ऐसे करके when, तो ultimately you'll reach to a point wherein you'll read the question, आपके ना माइंड में अप्रोचेस आ जाएंगे कि अच्छा यार ये
Correct.
वाला क्वेश्चन था, इसके बेस पे मैंने काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस कर रखे हैं, तो क्या पता इस पे हैश मैप लग जाए, क्या पता ये पर्टिकुलर एल्गोरिदम अप्लाई हो जाए, क्या पता कटीन्स
Hmm.
एल्गोरिदम यूज हो जाए. ठीक है, तो प्रीवियस
Correct.
प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग एक्सपीरियंस को माइंड में रखते हुए यू लर्न हाउ टू डू न्यू क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, ब्रूट फोर्स से स्टार्ट करना है, स्पेस ऑप्टिमाइजेशन करती, टाइम ऑप्टिमाइजेशन करती. तो ये प्रॉपर एक बहुत बड़ी जर्नी है, राइट फ्रॉम वेयर यू चूज अ लैंग्वेज, देन धीरे 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 करके बेटर होते गए, एंड देन इवेंचुअली यू एंड अप सॉल्विंग डीएसए प्रॉब्लम्स. उसके बाद ऑफ कोर्स कॉन्टेस्ट, क्योंकि जल्दी जल्दी सॉल्व करते हैं.
Okay. So that's a nice roadmap out there. Like you pretty much decoded everything out there, and it was really nice. How you put it up. So coding ninjas में कौन सा course लेना चाहिए? I guess Yogesh, you can take the basics course first, and try it out. Like I also took the basics course. Vangshu also started his programming journey with the same course that I did because I also code in C++ only. So I guess that is the only course we would recommend. After that, if you're interested, you can go for the other courses, right? Vangshu, if I'm
Yes, yes, completely agree.
okay. So I really thank you, Vangshu, for joining us on this wonderful session related to Amazon. It was really nice having you, and I hope we, portrayed the correct roadmap out there for the
Yeah,
students who
definitely.
can,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, reach Amazon or any fan company. So thank you so much, guys, for watching our stream. I'll be back live again this Friday at 7 p.m. So see you guys at Friday. Thank you so much.